And here we have a Motorola AA5 tube radio, model 58R11 from 1949. Got this, picked this one up offline, and it said it didn't work, so let's plug it in and see if that's the truth. And this set appears to be totally dead. Well, let's start by checking the power line and see if we have an open circuit. Okay, we have our leads connected across the power lines and have our test leads connected across the power line, and like I thought, we have an open circuit. So I don't know if you've seen prior videos of me solving this same problem with a RCA tube radio. Same basic concept, different tube lineup than this one here, but we have this problem in a prior video, and as you probably have seen if you saw the other video, you will know that anytime we have an open circuit like this in a All-American 5 tube radio, you either have one of several things going on. Either there's no continuity to the radio through the power cord, either that, or you have an open power switch or an open tube filament. Now the latter one is the most common of all of these. Usually you're a lot more likely to have an open tube filament than any of the other problems, but as we all know with these old radios, it's always possible for the power switch to go open, because you know the radio could have been used so many times the power switch wouldn't conduct anymore and needed to be replaced. So let's see if we can't dig into this a little further and find out what's going on. Okay, I have our schematic here, and I wanted to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Tube filaments, or the filament line on these sets are run in a series string. So the easiest way to think about this is, I'm pointing to the example right now, all of your tube filaments are all run in series, starting with the 35W4 rectifier tube. You have it coming in from the power cord, and it goes through your 35W4 rectifier tube, which changes AC to DC, but you have an AC line coming through. So the first thing you want to check is your first tube filament. See if that's broken, then you move on. Well, what I'm getting to is these filaments are all different voltages, and they all add up to about 120 or 115 to 120 volts. So you've got a 35 volt tube, you got a 50 volt tube, a 1, 2, and 3 12 volt tubes. So anyway, if any of these were to burn out, it would kill the whole radio. It's just like a string of Christmas lights. If one of them burns out, all of them are going to go out. Kind of like the old Christmas lights. A lot of your newer ones won't do that, but the older Christmas lights are just like this. it's a series circuit. If one of them goes out, you're going to lose continuity to all of them. So the most common reason why on one of these radios you wouldn't get power, especially if you have an open circuit on your power line, would be an open tube filament. So you just have to go through the tubes and see which one is burnt out, and that's what we're about to do now. And checking pin 3 and 4 on our 35W4 rectifier tube, we have about 36 ohms across there, so that's a good one. Moving on to the audio output tube, the 50B5. And checking our 50B5 output tube, audio output tube is wide open. So there's our burnout filament string. So we will replace the 50B5 tube and see what happens. Okay, we have our 50B5 tube replaced with a good one. So let's fire it up and see what happens now. We have the tubes lighting up. And we have a filter capacitor on. Sounds like we have a well, with the volume all the way down, we still have a really loud buzz. So that tells me it's the audio out, excuse me, it tells me it's the filter capacitor that's gone bad. So you can also hear a signal coming in, which is promising. So let's shut that off so where you can actually hear me and get that filter capacitor replaced. We have to pull the chassis and get that filter capacitor replaced and see what happens. Okay, here's the underside of the chassis, and it looks like we have all of our original paper capacitors, which will need to be replaced, especially this one that looks like it's overheated and pretty much had a meltdown, looks like. That's probably part of the problem why we lost our audio output tube. That actually looks like the across the line cap, so that'll definitely need to be replaced. And I have a feeling that this one's probably shorted and probably caused our tube filament to blow. So all those will need to be replaced. And here's our culprit here, our main electrolytic filter capacitor. And it looks like we have a 50 microfarad at 150 volts, a 30 microfarad at 150 volts. So this is a 2-section electrolytic capacitor. It should be fairly easy to replace. And one thing I want to point out when you're replacing these capacitors is to make sure you use heat shrink tubing on anything that's going to carry any kind of voltage across it, so you don't have any shorts. And make sure when you make your connections that you're making a good solid mechanical connection. Don't depend on the tensile strength of the solder to make your connections. Make sure you wrap your leads good around each point. If you can only do a J hook, that should be fine. Just make sure it's got a good tight connection around your point of contact. Okay, we got all our capacitors replaced. So let's fire it up and see what happens. Well, we got nice clear audio now.
And can do the same job in 5 years. Any individual.
That sounds like it's got a pretty sensitive receive.
Yeah, that was a problem for McMurray down here in the...
Camera making a noise.
It's truly horrendous. It is so sad. This is the level of incompetence, that is on the state. And I think he did a great.
We're getting a little interference from our light. Sounds like WSM out of Nashville.
Police officer. Just my idea. And that's why at the end of all the callers who join us, if you know somebody from the... And please...
Okay, here we are back in the cabinet playing. I did have to put 2 mounting screws on the chassis coming into the back of it.
That's WPTF.com under the host page.
Sometimes she thinks she's safe alone, but I'm not.
It's not about radicalism. They would rather use it to try to push gun control. They would. Great. There's no accountability. They will not confront sin. We need cancer or anything. I don't think I believe that. On the toll-free line, you're on the air. Hello.
Camera noise.
Is your connection to the Ohio Valley's best deal? CarsSearch.com. Tell us the year, make, and model you're looking for, and let local dealers compete for your business. Now, this is only for when you're ready to buy, with many dealers offering special incentives and preferred pricing just for you. Save big. Go to OhioValleyCarSearch.com today and check it out. Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? What I do is I produce videos.
As the Stripes sale has begun, get instant savings up to 30. Of Tokyo, which is an area where a lot of the American
Route 60. Driving the log on to Route Life.com. Start your journey home today. And now, a Women of Faith life-changing moment. Friendship is...
Okay, here's my, I don't know, 1949, 1950 Motorola 58R11, I believe. Playing again. Thanks for watching.